however he has to do it to wake them up. Kyrie understands what it takes to win a championship. So he's trying to show them there's an everyday process to this. And that's when I won a championship and we came back the next year, it was like, don't get bored with the process or understand what the process is. And that's what he's trying to teach them. And that's why they're inconsistent, because they don't understand that. It doesn't start just on the court during games. It's in practice. It's the little things. Like I watched that play. Obviously, that maybe Jason Tatum was an option, but I think the first option was to go to Hartford and some type of action from there. So it's the little things that they have to follow, the details that it's going to take for them to win a championship. And Kyrie's trying to show them that.
My question for you, Paul, is this. How often can you go to that particular line of thinking? If every time they hit a bump on the road, it's, the young guys, they don't get it. I mean, he's been, and I think you're right, you want your team leader to have accountability, but as a veteran, how many times can you play that card over the course of the season?
It's not only the young guys, it's the guys who haven't been there yet either. I mean, Kyrie's the only one with a title out there, and Baines, with San Antonio. So it could be from Al Horford to Gordon Hayward. These guys don't know. So they got to bring their hard hats each and every day because, like you said, expectations are here.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I find this interesting. There are multiple layers to this for me, but the first one is interesting because when LeBron showed up to Cleveland after going to Miami and winning some championships, there was some eye rolling about, I'm the champion conqueror coming back to teach you guys how to win championships. And Kyrie's kind of done some of that, right? Like he's taken a page out of LeBron's book, which I think is fascinating on its own because we all know how that ended up. But I think there are a couple of things. In Kyrie's favor, the quotes looked a lot worse than when you watch the video.
Right. Yes.
The tone of it is much softer, I think, than it is when you read it. Thirdly, though, I do think that to become a leader, right? Like you can't just say, I'm the leader and be the leader. I think guys have to be willing to follow you, and I think Kyrie's still trying to kind of figure that part out a little bit, and it may take a minute.
I mean, I also think there's this other issue, which is too often, a team hits a rough stretch, and we have to ascribe their losing to there isn't energy or inexperience. Sometimes you don't hit shots. Like, they have some shot selection issues.
Right.
Some of that is their offense. You can't ascribe every single misfortune of a team to, well, not everybody's getting in line, or we don't realize how tough this is. I mean, sometimes you don't hit shots. We talked about the Lakers earlier. They had this humiliating loss. What if they just hit free throws at 75% clip? We're having an entirely different show today.
Yeah. Amin used to call LeBron when he went back to Cleveland, Daddy LeBron, because he's treating him like the kids. Maybe it's like Uncle Kyrie. Now, maybe Uncle Kyrie's trying to.
Uncle Drew now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Exactly. He's trying to impart his wisdom. And while over the weekend it was clear Kyrie was testing the power of his voice, today he, I guess, watered down his harshness to some extent of his comments. Take a listen to what Kyrie said today.
I never want to come from a place where I don't want to sound like or make it feel like I don't want to win a championship. Sometimes I may come off and say things, and never to question my teammates in public like that ever again. But it's I just want to win so bad. Like, came from a place where I asked for a trade, and I'm coming here and I believe in this organization, and I want these young guys to be successful. In order to do that, we all got to be on the same page and have that mindset that a championship or nothing. And sometimes that could get the best of me at times.
All right, so Kyrie's comments today and over the weekend are just some of the many symptoms of the Celtics' overall situation. Just last week, Marcus Morris and Jaylen Brown got into it. A bit of a disagreement there in Miami and had to be separated. That came after Kyrie credited a late December team meeting that he said helped clear the air. So, Paul, who or what's to blame for the Celtics' chemistry issues at the moment?
I think it's a combination of the coaching staff all the way down. Because now there's pressure, like he said. There's pressure, there's expectations. How do the young guys handle this? How do the veterans handle this? It's tougher to play with expectations than no expectations. Last year, if they had made it to the finals, fine, nobody expected it. They went farther than anybody expected without Kyrie. Now it's like, we're expected to win the East, go to the finals, and the only team really people thought could challenge the Golden State Warriors. And now that none of this is seeming like it's going to play out, guys are frustrated with one another because those expectations have been put on. And this shows that they're not mature enough to handle it right because of the things they've been through. Maybe they'll get it together, but right now it's showing all over their face.
It's funny listening to Paul. You talk about the Sixers. Overachievement is responsible for some of the chemistry issues.
Yes.
It's like, Philly rips off 16 in a row. We start anointing them, heir apparent. I mean, the Celtics have this great run. The guys are hurt. It doesn't matter. The young guys step up. Horford is sort of the dean. And then all of a sudden, you got to reintegrate these new parts to keep up with expectations. You pump up a couple buttons on that treadmill. You're supposed to be the Warriors' biggest competition. And we were seeing that in Philly, too, which is, in some ways, success is a hazard. Because now you keep having success has to be followed by more success. And the expectations are very interesting. And those two situations are parallel.
See, I think that the players have something to do with this, obviously, because, look, last year, and I get it, when you're young, it's hard, right? Those guys were thrusted into a situation, and they did overachieve. And they were like, oh, I could be the man, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, et cetera, et cetera. But then those expectations now are different for them individually because their roles are different.
Yes.
And that's got to be very difficult to adjust to, right?
Yes. I mean, because when things get frustrating, you're like, well, I did this last year and we won.
Right.
And so now that stuff starts to creep in, whereas, no, you have to adjust to what we have now. We have Gordon Hayward. We have Kyrie. We can't go back to last year. Terry Rozier, you have to play less of a role. Tatum, you have to play less of a role. Brown, we can't do the things last year. Even though we were successful, we got to integrate these guys. And now when things don't go well this year, you start reverting back to that.
So what about the rumors out there? We've talked about it with the Lakers, right? The Lakers rumors at Anthony Davis or whatever. The Celtics have had some of those rumors too, especially with some of these young guys potentially being involved. Does that play a factor?
I mean, listen, I don't think anything is going to happen until this summer. Obviously, they're not going to push in for a move. This is a conservative, very methodical, actually, I shouldn't say conservative, this is a very methodical front office.
Well, but Grousbeck, their owner, I mean, was it like a couple of weeks ago, told the Boston Globe that, hey, look, we've always been interested in making a move if there's a move to be had, that they're, he's not necessarily pushing that aside.
They are not going to compromise one asset that might put them over the top in an Anthony Davis sweepstakes. I'm sorry. I mean, look, if there's a great deal out there, the buyout market is obviously an opportunity to do something, but I don't see the Boston Celtics, because to get them from the third or fourth or fifth best team to the first or second this season, doing anything to compromise their collection of assets for July 1st.
Okay.